Hello viewers, my name is Andre Parata Prangirangin, and today I want to present about metallurgy, chapter 8, steel products and properties. This is the reference that we use for presenting metallurgy for the non-metallurgists, second edition edited by Arthur Schirarder. Introduction. Modern society as we know it would not exist without steel. All steel are fundamentally alloys of iron and carbon, with the possible addition of selected alloying elements such as manganese, silicon, chromium, nickel, sulfur, and molybdenum, vanadium, niobium, and tungsten, as well as other alloy or impurity elements that impart specific properties. The many varieties of steels cover a wide range of applications and product forms. Examples of steel for specific application include so-called electrical steel for magnetic properties, spring steels for high strength and fatigue resistance, and structural steels for good combinations of both strength and toughness. There are many varieties of steels such as plain carbon steels, high-strength alloy steels, stainless steels, tool steels, high-speed tool steels, maraging steels, and precipitation hardening steels. The purpose of this chapter is to introduce the various types of steels, compositional categories, and effects of alloying on properties. The main focus is on the key properties and product of carbon and low alloy steels, while tool steels and stainless steels are discussed in other chapters. 8.1 Classifications of steels. Steels form one of the most complex groups of alloys in common use, and there are many ways to classify steel. Classification of steels based on chemical compositions is a widely used method. There are three very broad-based categories of steel based on composition: plain carbon steel, low alloy steels, and high alloy steels, which include stainless steels. Plain carbon and low alloy steels are briefly introduced in this chapter. Steel making. Steel making can be broadly classified into two steps: primary steel making in a converter or furnace, and secondary steel making in a ladle. Ordinary grades of steel may bypass the secondary steel making process. The two most important steel making processes are the electric arc furnace or EAF process and the basic oxygen furnace or BOF process, or LD, Lins-Donowitz process. The EAF process accounts for 35 to 40% of the world steel production, and BOF produce 55 to 60% of steels. Some other processes, such as the open heart furnace, are still practiced in a few countries to produce special steels. Deoxidation practice. Oxygen is generally considered an undesirable element in steel because it combines with other elements to form oxide inclusions that can degrade toughness and fatigue resistance. Deoxidation during steel melting typically involves the use of certain deoxidizing elements such as silicon and aluminum, although vanadium, titanium, and zirconium are sometimes used. Vacuum degassing is another method. Solidification method. After steel is melted and refined, it is then solidified into useful forms by various casting methods. On a tonnage basis, most steel is now solidified in continuous casting operation, but casting of steel still involves the original methods of solidifying into ingots. Production of steel ingots is still the preferred methods for certain specially high alloy, tool, forging, and remelted steels. Product forms. Prized steels product forms called mill product are produced in steel mills either by continuous casting methods or by the breakdown of ingot into various raw forms by rolling, drawing, and extrusion operations. Finishing method. The surface of steel products is influenced by its finishing method. In roll mill products, finishing is by either hot rolling or cold rolling. Hot rolled unpicked steel seldom offers any problem in maintaining surface finish. Microstructure. Most steels primarily have a body-centered cubic, crystal, or ferritic structure at room temperature, but alloying with some metals, such as nickel and manganese in particular, can give some steels a face-centered cubic or austenitic crystal structure at room temperature. Various types of stainless steel alloys have authentic or duplex, ferrite, austerite microstructure. Required strength level. Purchasing standard of steels and many other materials often specify a minimum required level of strength, and some categories of steels are defined by their mechanical properties. For example, high-strength low alloy or HSLA steels are designed to meet specific mechanical properties rather than a chemical composition. Heat treatment. One of the primary advantages of steels is their ability to attain high strength through heat treatment while still retaining some degrees of ductility. Heat treatment can be used to not only harden steels but also to provide other useful combinations of properties such as ductility, permeability, and machinability. Quality descriptors. Steels are described by a host of quality descriptors depending on the product and types of applications. The meaning of often is less obvious. For example, merchant quality hot rolled carbon steel bars are made for non-critical applications requiring mod strength and melt bending or forming, but not requiring forging or heat treating. 8.2 Carbon steels. All steels are iron-carbon alloys with carbon contents from 0.02% to less than 2%. The so-called plain carbon steels contain small amounts of manganese and silicons. Carbon steels can be classified further on the basis of carbon content. Steel containing less than 0.30% carbon is called low carbon steel or mild steel. Steel containing between 0.20 and 0.60% carbon is called medium carbon steel. Steel containing more than 0.60% is called high carbon steel. And free machining grades. Low carbon steel containing up to 0.30% carbon. The largest category of this class of steel is flat rolled products, usually in the cold rolled and annealed conditions. The carbon content for these high formability steels is very low, less than 0.1% carbon with up to 0.4% manganese. Medium carbon steels are similar to low carbon steels except that the carbon ranges from 0.30 to 0.60% and the manganese from 0.60 to 1.65%, increasing the carbon content to approximately 0.5 with an accompanying increase in manganese allows medium carbon steels to be used the quenched and tempered condition. high carbon steels. Containing from 0.60 to 1% carbon, with manganese contents range from 0.30 to 0.90% manganese. The microstructure is largely perlitic. They are used for applications where the higher carbon is needed to improve wear characteristic and where strength levels required are higher than those obtained with the lower carbon groups. Applications include spring materials and high-strength wires. Free machining grades. Free machining steels containing one or more additives that enhance machining characteristics and lower machining costs. Additives may include sulfur and phosphorus with negative effects on weldability and cold forming and forming. Alloy steel. Alloy steels contains manganese, silicons, or copper in quantities greater than those for the carbon steels, or they have specified range or minimum for the one or more of the other alloying elements such as nickel, chromium, molybdenum, and so forth. Sometimes alloy steels are further defined as being either low alloy steels or high alloy steels, depending on whether total alloying content is less than 8%. High strength low alloys, or HSLA steels, are designed to provide better mechanical properties and greater resistance to atmospheric corrosions and conventional carbon steels. They are not considered to be alloy steels in the normal sense because they are designed to meet specific mechanical properties rather than chemical compositions. Low alloy steels constitute a category of ferrous material that exhibit mechanical properties superior to plain carbon steels resulting from additions of such alloying elements as nickel, chromium, and molybdenum. For many low alloy steels, the primary functions of the alloying elements is to increase hardenability in order to optimize mechanical properties and toughness after heat treatment. In some cases, however, alloy additions are used to reduce environmental degradation under certain specific surface conditions. High alloy steels. Steels with alloying greater than 9% are typically classified as high alloy steels. Stainless steels are the major types of high alloy steels, but two other types are ultra high strength nickel cobalt steels and maraging steels. 8.4 Alloying elements in steels. Steels form one of the most complex groups of alloying in common use. The synergistic effect of alloying elements and heat treatment produce a tremendous variety of microstructure and properties. It would be impossible to include a detailed survey of alloying effects, and so only key alloying are discussed here. Carbon. Carbon is the single most important alloying element in steel. It is principal hardening element and is essential to formation of cementite, perlite, separated bainite, and iron carbon martensite. Manganese. Manganese is normally present in all commercial steels. It is important in the manufacture of steels because it deoxidizes the melt and facilitates hot working of the steels by reducing the susceptibility to hot shortness. Silicon is one of the principal deoxidizers used in steel making. The amount of this element in steel, which is not allowed always not in the chemical composition specifications. Depends on the deoxidation practice specified for the products. Copper is appreciable amounts can be detrimental to hot working operation and has a moderate tendency to segregate. Copper adversely affects force welding, but it doesn't seriously affect arc or oxyacetylene welding. Chromium is generally added to steel to increase resistance to corrosions and oxidations, to increase hardenability, to improve high temperature strength, or to improve abrasion resistance in high carbon compositions. Nickel, when used as an alloying element in constructional steels, is a very strengthener. Because nickel doesn't form any carbide compounds in steel, it remains in solutions in the ferrite, thus strengthening and toughening the ferrite phase. Molybdenum increases the hardenability of steel and is particularly useful in maintaining the hardenability between specific limits. The element, especially in amounts between 0.50 and 0.30%, minimize the susceptibility of a steel to temper embrittlement. Vanadium is generally added to steel to inhibit grain growth during heat treatment. In controlling grain growth, it improves the strength and toughness of hardened and tempered steel. Niobium. Small additions of niobium increase the yield strength and, to a lesser degree, the tensile strength of a carbon steel, and the addition of 0.02% niobium can increase the yield strength of medium carbon steels by 70 to 100 megapascal. Aluminum. Aluminum is widely used as a deoxidizer and for control of grain size. When added to steel in specified amounts, it controls austenite grain growth in reheat steels. Titanium increases the strength and hardness of steel by grain size control. It is also a very strong carbide and nitride former. Titanium may be added to boron steels because it combines readily with any oxygen and nitrogen in the steels, thereby increasing the effectiveness of the boron in increasing the hardenability of the steel. And the last, boron. Boron is added to fully killed steel to improve hardenability. Boron-treated steels are produced in range of 0.0005 to 0.003%. Whenever boron is substituted in part for other alloys, it should be done only with hardenability in mind, because the lowered alloy content may be harmful for some applications. 8.5 Strength and toughness. The word steel has become synonymous with strength, and the description strong as steel is common in everyday language. Steel is usually associated with strength because in many of its use, it is necessary that steel in one form or another supports a load. The bed spring supports the weight of a body, the car spring supports the weight of the automobile plus the weight of the passengers, and the car frame must withstand extra force due to acceleration and decelerations. A bridge must support the weight of cars, trucks, pedestrians, and the weight of the bridge itself. Toughness. Steels are generally considered tough materials, that is, they can absorb the energy of an impact without breaking. Axle shaft and steering components of an automobile are examples of applications requiring toughness because fracture of these components during service would be life-threatening. A large impact may bend the axle or steering components and make the automobile inoperative, but at least it is possible to come to a controlled stop. Fatigue strength. When a steel component is subject to repeat or cyclic stress, including vibratory stress, the part can fail by fatigue, even though the bulk stress levels acting on the part may be below the yield strength of the steels. For these reasons, it is important to understand the factor influencing fatigue and fatigue resistance and to be able to estimate safe stress levels for a part subject to repeat stress of strain. Elevated temperature strength. Carbon steels and low alloy steels with ferrite, perlite, or ferrite beneath microstructure are used extensively at elevated temperature in fossil fuel fire power generating plants, aircraft power plants, chemical processing plants, and petroleum processing plants. Many applications, however, are even more familiar. These include components of automobile engines and exhaust system, home furnace and hot water system, toaster, and ovens. Corrosion. The word corrode is derived from the Latin corrodere, which means to the pieces. Corrosion takes on many forms and can be defined in many ways. For the purpose present here, the metallurgical definitions of corrosion is an electrochemical process where metal atoms exchange electrons with atoms in the environment in the presence of moisture. For example, iron combines with atmospheric oxygen or dissolved oxygen to form a hydrated iron oxide, commonly called rust. That's all from me to presenting about Chapter 8, Steel Products and Properties. Thank you.